Well, I wanted to say just make some remarks about a brief passage in the introduction. This is on page 38. And this maybe give you a sense of how what kind of Christian Kierkegaard is and how he conceives of the what is the condition of being a Christian, you might say. But he says here, but then Christianity has discovered in its turn a misery which humanity as such does not know exists. That is, to really know how bad things can get, you have to be a Christian. Um, that is, and the rest of the passage kind of explains that. He says, "This misery is the sickness unto death." It's the mysterious title of the book. He's talked about Lazarus, the Lazarus story, uh, and he said something again dialectical. Even death is not the sickness unto death. Take it, leave it to to Christianity to discover something worse than death, something much worse than death, and any Christian can kind of think that through for themselves, and he'll really kind of reveal what that is. Um, he says, "What and the natural man will be the reasonable person who doesn't have any faith. Nothing wrong with being a natural man. The natural man is just the person who's the non-Christian, and perhaps the non-religious person, the rational, reasonable person." He says, "What the natural man counts terrible when it is all added up and he can think of no remainder. All this the Christian treats as a joke. Such is the relation between the natural man and the Christian. It is like that between a child and an adult. What the child shrinks from in horror, the adult thinks nothing of. The child doesn't know what is horrifying. The adult knows, and he shrinks from it in horror." So that's, I think, quite important to give you a sense of what he'll be kind of exploring here and what it means for him to be a Christian. It means a lot of things to be a Christian, and there is ultimately this incredible gift for being a real Christian, for really being yourself, in other words. But it's no picnic. I mean, the Christian sees more, you might say, of reality and understands more of the human condition than the non Christian or so called natural person or natural man does, and sees how high the stakes are and how bad things can really get. It may be that, in a certain sense, for the natural man, the worst thing in the world is death. For the Christian, he says, it's a joke, man. Are you kidding? That's the worst thing? No, it's not the worst thing. There are things far, far worse than death. But that's an insight that the Christian can have. And that's why human existence for the Christian is a kind of a problem that needs to be solved. Being a self is a problem that needs to be solved. Whereas for the so called natural man, you just are what you are. I mean, you can think of Plato's theory of human nature as being reflecting the so called natural man. Listen, I am made up of a rational part and a will and desires, and that's me, and I'm trying to be happy and I'm trying to be just. And it's a matter of getting these things in the proper balance and order. The Christian views the thing entirely differently because for the Christian, they are always in the presence of God, and that the demands of that are something that entirely outstrip and transcend the division of human nature into these three Platonic parts, and in a certain way make them not altogether irrelevant, but secondary to this enormous task of just becoming yourself. And becoming yourself is a matter of coming to terms with being in the presence of God, which in Kierkegaard's mind is not an easy thing, coming to terms with that. No, not at all.